Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright here. So we're moving along, getting close to wrapping up the series on the domain actions and then moving on to a couple other things. So we wanted to look today at a pretty lengthy one, but also a very, very important one if you're going to be expanding your domains, and that is Investiture. So this is basically the way that you sort of officially, fully take over the rulership of a given province or other domain entirely. So let's jump in here. So it is a domain action, as you might expect. It does have special costs, which we'll get into as well. Now, the ceremony of investiture allows one regent to pass control of part or all of his domain to another scion. The investiture must be performed by a priest who can cast the investiture realm spell. Check our other video on that. Which does count as a free action for the priest. So if you are running a theocracy like Medoir or Telenier, you can kind of do it all in one. But anyway, at least one of the two regents involved must be physically present. This counts as a domain action. A priest may invest himself and must use a domain action to do so. Once the investitures complete, the province or holdings in question become part of the investing regent's domain. It is possible to invest an unwilling recipient as well. So just keep that in mind, should that be a scenario that happens. So, a single province or holding can be invested without the permission of its ruler if it's been conquered or contested by the investor. The base success number is 10, and the investor must pay regency points equal to the province or holding level, so a level 5 would be another 5 on top. The defender can bid points in return, normally to affect the success number, though. So that could be sort of a last-ditch effort if they do have some points left to spend. So, then vassalage is another type of scenario that involves this. So an agreement of vassalage must be formalized by an investiture ceremony attended by at least one of the regents involved, and then the agreement isn't binding, though. The vassal can voluntarily break it anytime they wish. The liege is immediately aware of that, though, and may take steps to remind them of the pact. The vassal and the liege agree to a number of regency points that the vassal will pay the liege each domain turn. At the time of the agreement, both give up that amount of regency points. So it's a special situation there, but if you, rather than just outright want to conquer people, if you can get them to be your vassals, it's kind of a tenuous agreement, as we see, but it is nice that they essentially will be paying you extra regency points a turn, which you can use to fuel your other actions and things like that. In addition, we have bloodline investiture. So, the ceremony, which is rarely used, transfers all of the power of a bloodline from one character to another. Both have to be present on this occasion, though. But the donor need not be a willing participant, though, so keep that in mind, too. The donor gives up their bloodline entirely, so they lose that magical bloodline. If the recipient is unblooded, they assume the patron's bloodline derivation, strength, and abilities. If they're already blooded, then his strength is increased as if he had killed the donor by piercing them through the heart. So see blood theft. We'll talk about that in another video someday. So it's basically, a way of passing that on. Could be a fun start to an adventure, or hook of an adventure too, where, you as an unblooded character or party stumble upon a dying regent and they want to pass that on to someone, and boom, you suddenly inherit all these wondrous gifts and powers and are thrust immediately into the rulership of a realm or domain. So pretty interesting stuff there. And in that aspect, it's kind of like, in a certain sense, all the bloodline stuff is kind of like, Highlander, where, you're trying to be like the one remaining one, the strongest one. But here, it's a way of like passing these special powers on too. So, but here, piercing someone through the heart versus decapitating. Now, then finally here, investiture as a realm action. An entire domain or realm under one regent can be invested, but only if the regent to be divested is alive and physically present. The victim may be under any kind of magical or physical duress. The recipient must spend RP equal to the domain power, which is the sum value of the province's holdings and other assets, which could be quite a large number. So probably not something that is going to just randomly happen, especially if you're taking over a larger, significant realm. So then the success is automatic if the target is willing, but if they're unwilling, then it's a base 10, again modified by the difference between the bloodline strength of the investor and the victim. And then if it fails, the victim retains control. So Now, if the attempt finally here is made to divest an unwilling regent whose provinces have not been conquered, then the provinces are considered contested until the new regent can defeat any opposition there and occupy them. Similarly, all holdings must be contested or conquered physically, or they remain under the control of the target's heirs. Neither the new regent nor the heirs can gain or spend regency in contested provinces. And then finally, only when a province is conquered by the new regent can they collect and spend regency there. So quite a lot of things going on here with how realms and domains essentially can be transferred, but also bloodlines and just certain conditions that have to be met. A lot of times, certain people, certain parts of the, certain members of the transaction essentially don't have to be there, but in some cases they do. So there's just a lot to handle there. But for any and all rulers, it's definitely worth having good relations with at least one of the faiths in your domain, and specifically a priest then who has access to that particular realm spell. So it's always something to keep in mind. Alrighty, guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts on the video and the investiture ability. Also, if you want to support us a little bit more, check us out on Patreon. A lot of cool, unique perks there for our subscribers and specifically for our Birthright supporters. And again, we'll be featuring a lot of unique content on there in the coming weeks and months. Just check out the different levels there to see what makes sense for you. Love all the extra support from that. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.